Was the city's. That's right. So when I was there, because I came from a lot of nonprofit.
That's a big loss.
And my goal was to. Help this nonprofit. That's what it is.
Like a straight up.
West Point area, Hudson River. Moved to Middletown.
Looked like a boxer standing out there trying to shake off. People like, what? It's like, "Oh, no." I was like, "No, I would need that. You got it. I'm good."
Hey, Dee.
Well, I.
Yes, it's weird. Like,
Yep. I actually live in Pine Bush. Birds. The Delaware. I live in Horseman. But I like it.
Thanks for coming.
Right here to you. I know, right? Okay. Sure.
I'm gonna start off with my little deal for talking about some nonprofit. Involved in starting. Right. And then you're gonna start. Like you want to say something, right? Then I'll spotlight. Just for. You're representing that. Take one or two and then I give them to whoever. Hey.
That's fine. I'm supposed to put them in the chair, but since you're allowed to sit there.
That's right.
I hold it for you.
I'm with.
That's Karen lives in St. Patrick's. And so Karen was the person I wanted to talk to about the city having a meeting.
Okay.
You can give another person. That's a good idea. Yeah. I was waiting for Jimmy to send me something.
Yes, because he's in charge of that, and if there's too many people, I just let him go direct, so, but I got the computer information that day.
Yeah.
You in the camera?
Well. Yeah. I chose to sit here. No, that's okay.
You chose on either one.
No.
Facebook Live can still see you.
Whatever. There's no hiding this.
How
No,
are you?
good,
Good. As busy as ever.
Then we see you next Tuesday, right?
Backpack Angels.
Oh, yeah. So much going on.
I just knew because I looked at my calendar a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, it's April 4th.
April 4th, yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's the one that's gonna come to our next meeting. Remember to talk about it.
I remember read lacrosse.
Yeah.
Oh, she's coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I expect her to come and show up with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a gift.
They almost brought an Easter bunny too. I keep Easter's really early this year. I didn't realize this. I don't know why. Something came up. I know what it is. The Easter egg hunt is going on.
It's going on early. And it seems,
And
why
that's
is
when I
it
look
so
at
early?
the date, and there it was. You know, what's with that?
Unless you're a troublemaker. Are you a troublemaker?
Her, yes.
Yeah.
She knows.
Just a little bit.
It's like it's April.
Yeah.
It's April.
All right, we have about a minute before I guess we go live. Don, you gonna give us something?
We're live, we're running just so we could allow people to join, so we're, whenever
Okay,
you're
so
ready
we're
to
live
start.
now.
Yep.
Oh, okay,
You're good to go.
great, so here we go. So I just want to let you know what the format. I'm gonna talk first, and then I'll have each one of you that wants to talk about your particular group join in and have the floor. But it's casual conversations. It means that you can butt in and ask questions of somebody. So I don't want it to seem like it's a formal type thing. All right, so welcome everybody, and welcome out there in Facebook land to Conversations with Commissioner White, that's me. And today's focus, we're coming from the beautiful Northport Art Center. Yes, okay. Really want to thank them for allowing me to host this here, and for people to realize that we have an art center and to come here and visit and to see the vibrancy that we have in Northport through our very own art center. So I'm really glad that we can come from here, and when people come in person, you can really see what the art center is all about. Usually there's a class going on, but there isn't one tonight, right?
No, I canceled it so I could be here.
Thank you, because usually I like that little hustle and bustle that's going on in the background. I actually enjoy that. It's a little distraction for me, which is good. Sometimes I need that. So tonight's focus is to be the change you want to see, about people becoming more involved in their community, and I guess maybe letting people know they have permission to become involved. And I want to start off, probably most of you are familiar with Margaret Mead's quote, but for those who may not be familiar with it, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So that's where we are, that people can be the change they want to see by becoming an activist. And by being an activist doesn't mean you're going out there holding up signs on a street corner necessarily, but you see a need and you say, I'm going to either start something, or I know there's a group already that's filling that need, and I'm going to help them and take them maybe to another level, or at least just get involved. And I can say from experience, for those who may not know who I am out there, I started People for Trees in 1997 because I saw a need about advocating for our native tree canopy. And I started that with 6 people in the library, Northport Library. And we sat around, and then we went through the 501c3 process. And now we have an annual tree fair that's coming up on April 29th. And I'm proud to say it's the longest running event in Northport that's been put on by the same group. We also do an annual bike ride, the Tour de Northport. People still think that's a city event, but that's a fundraiser for People for Trees. And all this started with 6 people getting together in the library and wanting to bring attention to our native tree canopy and the importance of maintaining and protecting it. So you can do that, go to that extent, or like I said, become involved in an established group. And there's some groups in the area that I have always admired, and I just wanted to share some of those with all of you, because this is what I do. I pick other people's brains. If I figure, why reinvent the wheel? If somebody's already done it, I just want to figure out how they did it. One of them is, it's known as VABI. Is anybody familiar with VABI? It's the Venice Area Beautification Inc. They're in Venice, and I talked to Greg Vine. I'll give him a shout out. He's the, I don't know what his title is, the chair of that now, but it's a nonprofit that was started in the early 90s. And they are responsible for a lot of beautification projects in the city of Venice. They just, right, they were given $1.5 million,
Wow.
all right, from the Gulf Coast Community Foundation as a grant, right. And this is the value of people getting involved and having nonprofits, because the Gulf Coast does not give grants to municipalities, but they'll give them to nonprofits. So I've always said that Northport's leaving a lot of money on the table, so to speak, because we're not capturing some of that grant money that we could be capturing. So they do beautification projects in Venice. I don't know if you're familiar with their shark sculptures that they have around the city. Some of you, yeah. That was a grant from the Gulf Coast Foundation that they were able to do that. They have what's called the Tree Arboretum. That is the John Blaylock Park. That was a kind of tired old park, and they brought it back to life. If anybody knows Monty Andrews, it's named after him, in fact, the Monty Andrews Tree Arboretum. But there's sculptures there, there's all kinds of plantings, and it's all run by volunteers. People have planted things there. I have donated trees to be planted there. So, and this is just the power of what people can do. And some people may know about the Gowns for Girls that was just held at the Hampton last weekend. And again, this was started by Stephanie Brown. I'm going to give her a shout out. She lives in Valrico. Does anybody know where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little north of us. I know them because there's a train that still goes through that town. I love trains, so I know about that. But she saw a need for girls who wanted to go to prom, couldn't afford the dresses, and found a way to get the dress shops to donate their dresses that weren't sold. They're brand new, and she heard about Hurricane Ian devastating this part of Florida, and she brought it to Northport, and it was wonderful. I loved seeing the gowns and the girls being so excited, because they also had jewelry, they had shoes. It was like the whole package there for them. And again, this is from somebody that just decided, there was a need, and I'm going to do something about it. And this is what she does. Also kids, Skyla Fowler, I've worked with her and her sister for years through, they're in the Girl Scouts, but they do a lot of work with People for Trees. But she started these pocket hugs for cancer patients, nursing home residents, and friends at school, that they get together to sew these pocket hugs for people. They're little felt bags. And again, she saw that need, and she recruited people to help her, and she just does it. So these are kids that are doing this, and why can't adults do this as well? Some of you may know about Team Punta Gorda. That's another nonprofit group that started after Hurricane Charlie, talking about hurricanes, because Port Charlotte was devastated after Hurricane Charlie. And I remember going to talk to them because they wanted to, it wasn't Team Punta Gorda, it was Team Parkside, I think. It was another section of Charlotte County. They wanted to plant street trees. So who else to call but the tree lady, that's right. And they did that because I had orchestrated a massive street tree project on North Salford. Over the course of 2 summers, we planted over 300 street trees on North Salford. So they heard about that. They wanted to pick my brain about how did you do that, because they wanted to plant trees on their streets as well. And a couple of years ago, I went down Aaron Street. I don't know if any of you know, that's where the cultural center is on Aaron, isn't it? And I was there delivering a pie. Yes. And I said, wow, look at all these street trees. And then I realized this is their project, and beautiful trees. And again, that's because they reached out to me and made things happen for their community. And again, wonderful things can happen when people come together. So we have other nonprofits that are looking for help out there. And the Northport Library, I know the Friends of the Northport Library has been looking for volunteers because I don't want to see them dissolve. The Northport Library is near and dear to me. I've been here for 32 years, so I was here before that was even built. When it used to be in the Northport Mall. Does anybody know what was the Northport Mall? That is now, then it became the South Biscayne Church on 41, and now it's the Foundation Church, I think it's called. But that was the mall of Northport. And one of the little units was the library before the one that is there now was built. So I'd hate to see them dissolve. So at this point, I think I'd like to start turning it over to those who are gathered here. We have representatives from various nonprofits, and those of you out in Facebook Live land, you can put your chats in, and then Don, who is the man behind the camera there, you're not going to see him, I guess. He will just interrupt and say, we have a question, we have a comment, something, all right? So, and this book, before I forget, Just Help. This is such a great, it was written by one of our Supreme Court justices, Sonia Sotomayor, right?
Sotomayor.
Sotomayor, thank you. And when this came out, I said, this speaks to me, just help. Yeah, just do it. And as a commissioner, sometimes I get calls from residents complaining about something, and I just want to say, just like somebody called about trash. There was a lot of trash on the streets. And I shared with her that, besides being the pie lady and the tree lady, there's kids that used to call me the trash lady because I would pick up, I still do. I have one of those little grabber things, so I don't have to bend down. And I have it down to a science. I don't even have to break my stride when I'm picking up the trash on North Southford. But I said, pick it up. I mean, you're allowed to do that. This is your neighborhood. Embrace it. Be proud of it. And because it bothers me to see trash along the side of the road. So I do that on a regular basis. But this spoke to me. Just help. All right, so at first I'd like to introduce, we have Northport Forward here. We have Carmine and Ginger Miranda who started the group. Do I have that right?
Walter.
With Walter, okay. And do you want to say what is your focus and why, when did you start and why was it started?
We got together in 2018 after the November election for Commissioner of District 5. Basically, we were looking at different things that were going on in Northport. We were looking at what Punta Gorda had, Charlotte County had, Sarasota, and we wanted some more things to do being newly retired here in Northport. So we figured we'd get together and we talked about it, and it mushroomed into an organization that's a 501c3 that where we are, what our focus is on is factual information and having open dialogue. Because too many times today, it's people yelling at each other and nothing gets accomplished. And we've worked with the city, we've partnered with the city now. In 2022, we started what we call the meet and greet. And basically what that was to introduce, we had the new city manager, Jerome Fletcher, to introduce the new city manager, the city staff, and the district commissioners to the different neighborhoods in Northport. And it was very well received. People liked it because it was not political. It was open dialogue, and they were able to ask questions, get their thoughts, their ideas, and their concerns out. And they walked away thanking us because it was fresh information, factual information, which, a lot of them were getting information off of Facebook, and some of it was inaccurate.
Well, like some of it?
A lot of it, I'm being kind.
You are being very
Yeah.
kind.
A lot
Yes.
of it is misinformation,
Uh-huh.
and that's where we all joined forces, and we have other folks that are on vacation that couldn't be here tonight, but we're again in 2023 now taking out Northport United Tour with the city
That's right.
to get the message out, to dispel some of the misinformation that's out there, but mainly, again, to go out to all the neighborhoods, to let the people ask the questions, let them share their thoughts, things that they want to see, especially now because we're approaching the budgeting season.
Right. Now, you had your first one in Welland Park.
The first
Correct.
one was in Welland Park at the Public Safety
Mhm.
Complex. And we had about 130
Yes.
people registered. It was
Very well
large,
attended.
very well attended. A lot of great information. The city put out some flyers and stuff, the myths versus facts. And just want to reach out to the people in Welland Park, because I know a lot of them had talked through the years that no commissioners ever went to Welland Park. They feel like they're a forgotten group. And I have to say, hats off to Jerome Fletcher and all of the commissioners and the city staff, because they're out there working a full day, and then they come out at 6 o'clock at
Yeah,
night
I was impressed with that.
and spend, an hour and a half, 2 hours going through a presentation and answering questions for the residents.
Right, and I have to say, no one's ever done that. To go out into the community from the commission and just be with the people, other than maybe budget. I remember going to Toledo Blade, they were there for something, I can't remember what, and there was like 5 people that showed up. But this was something to go out and actually have the people ask questions and be involved.
That's the whole thing,
Right.
civic involvement.
Yes,
And again, it deserves to be repeated, not political, because too much of what goes on today is of a political nature. And again, there's no open dialogue, people are yelling at each other.
Right.
And we want it to be the group that, cuts through all of that minutia and says, here are the facts, let's talk.
mhm.
That's basically
Right.
our.
So what do you have coming up?
What we have coming up is, we're, again, working with the city, we're looking to do another Unity tour.
Right,
We're thinking, right now we have Shannon Staub Library booked, but we're waiting on the city to let us know what the city manager and the commissioners and some of the staff's availability is, so that we can put that out for the public to register
right,
and to submit questions ahead of time, so that, they can gain the knowledge of what's going on and the things of interest, like Warm Mineral Springs, the de-annexation, the budgeting now, the
Right.
tax season. Get your answers, ask the questions, be involved.
right, because Welland Park was a lot that was focused on Welland Park and
Yes.
the de-annexation issue going on
Yeah.
out there, that's right, some of those
Yeah,
questions.
a lot of that was based on de-annexation, and we want to move throughout the city to
Mhm.
give everybody an opportunity to ask the questions, get the answers that they require, so that they can make intelligent choices.
Right.
And, there was a clothing store back in New Jersey many years ago called Sims. And Cy Sims, the owner, used to say, an educated consumer is our best customer.
I remember that
So-
commercial.
Yeah, so, that's it. We just want to educate the citizens so that they can come out and vote, they can come out to the meetings, they can let their voice be heard. And it's, the new city manager is promoting a community of unity.
Yes,
And they are looking for, and it didn't happen in the past, they are actually looking for residents to get involved, to share their thoughts, ideas,
yes,
and the concerns, so that we make the city the best that it possibly could be for everybody.
and you're providing that opportunity.
Contrary to popular comments out there, we're not being paid by the city of Northport to do this. We're not being paid.
I think because you have the name Northport in your
Okay.
name, people
Yeah.
might.
That's important, because there was some, at the last meeting that we had, that was at the
Public safety.
at the public safety, there was some comments made that, we were there to become political, and that's not the situation at all.
Yeah.
Because if, when this was formed, and I made it very clear to both Carmine and
All the board members.
I said, if we become political, I'm out of here, because that's not the goal.
Right,
Our goal is to inspire people to become good citizens and to help each other in the city of Northport. I think that's really, really
Our
important.
mission has always been to inform, educate, and inspire, and,
Right.
and to inspire the residents to work together on any issue that's important to them. What Northport Forward does is just facilitate the residents coming together to do that.
Mhm.
That's really our only function.
And I would ask you to go on to, I think it's on, yeah, it's on here. There's a web site, northportforward.com. You can see some of the things that we've been doing, and we do op-eds. And anybody that would like to do an op-ed,
Any
you
resident,
submit it to us, we'll look at it as long as it's not political. We will send it out to our mailing list and post it on our website. And you can see that we have op-eds on our website.
Right.
And that's very, very, very important.
And the meetings would also be on the website.
I'm sorry?
The meetings
The
of what?
events will be
events
posted
they'll
on
be
the
Yes.
posted,
website.
and also on the Facebook page, and we
Yeah.
also have an Instagram page
Yeah,
as well.
they're on our website, and you'll see, there's a page called events. You can go on that and look on that. We also have a calendar, you can go on that. We did have one that was actually scheduled for tomorrow that unfortunately got canceled out.
At a gated community, so
was
it
at a
wasn't a
gated
public,
community.
it wasn't a public
It
meeting.
wasn't a
was
public meeting, and it was
Right,
a
so
gated
it's a-
community event, and the gated community decided that they did not want to have it.
Right.
For a lot of different reasons.
Can I interrupt? Do you have regular meetings, like once a month, for
We-
general
We used to, before COVID
Okay.
started, we're trying to get back to
to that?
because we want to hear from the residents about what's also other things that are important to them. And that's why
okay.
I just had this one thing. One of our board members and also a resident of Northport, Karen Dill, and her son, Matt Dill, she's starting a new initiative called Mobility Challenged Inclusion. And it's in memory of her husband, Stephen. And it's any individual, young or old, who requires the use of an aid, cane, crutches, walker, wheelchair, scooter, to help them get from point A to point B. She is encouraging along with Northport Forward, to join in this endeavor. They're working on a website. It's under construction right now. And that they will inform the community about difficulties that people with mobility issues face on a daily basis. They will be evaluating public buildings for ADA accessibility inside and out. They'll offer suggestions for improved access. They'll also be compiling a listing of all the friendly public buildings in Northport. Their goal is to help everyone in the community have an improved quality of life. And if you're interested, she did leave a sign-up sheet. You can always go to Northport Forward, because once the website is up, we'll put that out to our mailing list, so that anyone who's interested or who knows someone who might be interested in joining, that's what we do. We bring people together.
And if you want to help us go forward with Northport Forward, our email is on this thing also. Send us an email and we'll reach out and contact you. And if you want to be on one of our committees, or if you want to be a board member, which means that's a lot more work, but if you want to be a board member, just let us know and we'll gladly reach out to you, and we'll see what we can do together. I think it's important. The city is a fast-growing city, and we want to have the citizens feel safe and enjoy their life here in Northport. That's our goal.
Excellent. So you do have committees,
Yes.
and people can go to the website to become involved,
Yep.
or at least to
Or sign
reach
up.
out
Yeah,
to
Sign
you.
up for a newsletter.
Right,
Or just send us an email and
Right.
request that you want to have a discussion, if you
About
want to
it,
join.
about anything.
However you want to join, you can join by physically being at some of the meetings and helping out. You can join if you just want to make a small
Right.
donation, where that's basically, right now, we're member funded.
okay, so, but you said you're not having general meetings yet, but are the committees meeting as needed?
Well, we have monthly board meetings,
Right,
and that includes some of the committees. And what we are also planning on is that we've had discussions with some of the key areas within the city. Like, it seems to have fallen by the wayside with everything else that's going on, which is the well and septic conversion. So we want to have utilities come out and talk about where they are, what phase they're in, what
Mhm.
area they're working on.
Right,
And then, so that the customers or the residents can ask questions to learn about that. Also, there's a lot of building going on.
Yep.
There's a lot of zoning changes and stuff that are going on. People are concerned about it.
Right.
And we would like to have planning and zoning at a meeting to discuss
Neighborhood development.
neighborhood development,
Right.
to
To
discuss
explain.
what their plan is and
Yeah.
to explain
Yes.
and answer questions.
and again,
It's
that is good, it's so
Education.
needed, because again, you mentioned misinformation out there, and people always question, why one more car wash, but the thing is, when you have a developer who's is paying the bill to develop that property, they want something that's gonna make them money. I mean, that's what it's all about, and obviously they're making money.
Okay, one last thing, we've had several other not-for-profits reach out to us
Yeah, we've
to
been
see how
working
we
with
can
them.
partner with them
Yes.
going forward also. We're in dialogue with them right now. So you'll be hearing more on that on our website and through our emails that'll be coming out.
Okay,
That's all I had.
all right, great. So I'd like to move on to another nonprofit. We have a guest here, Pat.
Hi, I'm gonna stand up so you
Yes,
can see our brochure.
Please do.
I'm Pat Petersmark, and I'm the publicist for our Northport Coalition, Homeless Needy Children, the Backpack Angels. I think everybody here knows me already. But this group was started about 13 years ago with 7 amazing women, and some of these women are still with us. Right now, almost 13 years later, we have close to 90 volunteers. And this started out because these ladies found there was a need in our Northport schools for hygiene products for children. Some, especially the high school age, they were starting to quit school. And they had gone and tried to get some help, and apparently nobody recognized that we had needy children in Northport at that time. So they took it upon themselves and started collecting hygiene products. And they took 50 of the hygiene products to the Northport High School and gave it to the principal. And he thanked them and he said, well, what about the other 100 kids? So this is how it started. And right now, we are like overwhelmed. By the way, I have some brochures with me. If anybody wants to take one, we're doing close to 1,000 bags a month.
Wow.
And it's an overwhelming thing. We've been managing, thank God, to keep up with everything. We collect all unopened hygiene products, any sizes, and we take them to all of all the schools in Northport. And we get the number of the children through the principals and the social workers. Some schools might get 300 or 400. Another school might get 50. So we're constantly going around, and Linda Warmington, also from Backpack Angels, she and I kind of given speeches, at the Kiwanis and the Rotaries, and anybody that invites us to talk about it and gives us something, we're happy. So we do this a lot, and the big thing, I was a publicist for about the last 8 years, and it kind of started out as a joke. Because the president said we need a publicist, and my question was, what do you have to do? So, from there, it just went on. And the good thing that I've always enjoyed is that you're helping the children, but at the same time, we never see these kids.
Right.
So we don't know who they are. And there's been occasions, we have blue t-shirts, Backpack Angels t-shirts that we wear when we're delivering all the products. And there's been occasion, once was at Publix, when the cashier said, "Can I hug you, honey?" And I'm thinking, I'm not a hugger, Alice knows that, I'm not really a hugger. So, but I'm like, okay. And it turns out we had helped her children when she really, really needed it, and she appreciated it so much. And another time, we were in Boca Lupa for our pizza, and the waiter that waited on us, he stopped and he said, I wouldn't have finished high school if it wasn't for you children. He said, apparently the kids, it's her self-esteem. Kids were making fun of him. He smelled and he knew, he was just said he didn't feel right. And he said that saved him. And he said, my mom did the best she could, but she had to choose between food and hygiene products. So and when somebody like that comes up to you, you kind of realize this is what you're doing. You know, we're doing it for the children. And the Backpack Angels meets the first Tuesday of every month at 10 o'clock at the AMVETS 312, which is right off of Chancellor there.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we thank God for them too. We do that a lot. But as you know, they were devastated with the hurricane. And so, you know, our thought was, where are we going to meet? So we met wherever we could on the same day, but fortunately they reopened. And so we're back in business. So now we meet there every month. And it's just, they've been a tremendous help to us, and so many people are. And I think one of the big things too is if you go over to the schools, all the social workers and that kind of know, you know, the kids that are going to get in, and they've been such a big help to and our volunteers are terrific. I mean, we have people that come in and pack, and if you'd ever come to our packing day, it's like, picture the Ford Motor Company and the assembly line. All the volunteers, everybody has a box in front of them. Somebody puts in detergent, you know, you might put in shampoo and anything that we need all the way down the line. And at the end of the line, and Frank Casey is one of those people, he fills our baskets with the hygiene products and gets to the end of the line. We have volunteers there that it's carted out to their car, and they deliver them and they take them to the schools. And we do this every single month. So, and we've been helping, we've been really lucky that we've had enough hygiene products, because we're getting, a lot of our Ukrainian neighbors are now here, and they're coming with nothing. So we get a lot of calls that, you know, they really need help. And fortunately, we've been able to supply them and keep up with that.
All right, I have a couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
People can donate
Yes.
items,
Yeah.
and where do they bring them?
Southern Storage, which is on Toledo
Yes.
Blade, it's right near the
Just
emergency
bring
room.
them to the office there?
Right, and they will take care
They'll
of
take
it
care of
for
it,
you.
okay.
Also have a brochure, there's people, a website is www.backpackangels.org. You can go on there, that tells you what type of hygiene products. You can call any volunteer, we'll come get them, you know,
Okay.
we'll pick them up.
And I know they're at the Southern Storage because I've been there and I've seen them.
And you've seen them,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
You have a couple of units there or something.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I believe we have four.
Yeah.
We have four? Yeah, we have four. And I would like to add too that WKDW has been really good to us. I happen to have 2 radio programs there, so we got to give them a little plug. But Chat with Pat, I've been able to invite Alice White, all our commissioners and people, and they give me free reign. I mean, you will hardly ever hear me on the radio that I don't mention Backpack Angels, even if you got to sneak it in a little bit.
Right.
I kind of, you know, yeah, I kind of managed to do that.
And then I have
So-
another question. Are they actual backpacks or they're just
No,
bags?
No,
Bags.
actually,
Or bags?
there's some, I got a grant that we were able to get some of these bags, and this is what we
So
fill.
when that goes out, does that
come back?
does it come back?
No,
No.
no,
They
that's,
take
we
it-
we
they take it
received
home.
a grant,
Okay.
and we do that. Now, Publix donates the plastic bags, because we donate to a lot of preschool. So the preschool kids don't get the big heavy stuff.
Okay.
So we have the little plastic bags, and they're filled, and those,
Okay.
so, and Publix has donated that to us.
I was just asking because when I was teaching, we had the ones, it was every Friday. They delivered food stuff for the
Yeah,
weekend, but
yeah.
they were in actual backpacks and they were numbered. And that the child had to bring the backpack back,
Right.
and then they got the same one.
Yeah, I would be concerned most kids wouldn't bring them back.
Well, then they wouldn't get their,
Yeah.
well, they would, they got the
Yeah.
plastic bags, but they really wanted them back again for
Yeah,
that.
no, we've been
Yeah.
very lucky with grants.
Good,
That's
okay.
how we've survived through COVID and a hurricane and everything else,
Okay,
is our grants, and they've been able us to get the bags. So,
right.
yeah.
Does anybody else have any other
Yes.
questions?
I had one question, Pat. Backpack Angels usually has an annual fundraiser. Is one scheduled for this year?
Yes, we haven't been able to have fundraisers for the last 3 years.
I know because of COVID. I went to
but
one of them
actually-
and then I think COVID came. and-
Well, actually, this coming Saturday, and I believe we're all sold out, Applebee's, we're having a breakfast there from 8 to 12 at Applebee's. And we've sold quite a few tickets, and I believe, and Linda could probably tell you more about that. But we are planning a big bunco in November,
Okay.
and that's going to be at our MVets 312. I'll tell you, these people have been
Bunco.
wonderful
They are
to us.
wonderful.
You know, they let us use it for nothing, which is a good thing.
They
And
are
on top of that, they have the coffee ready when we get there.
That's always handy.
Gotta have the coffee.
Yeah, gotta have coffee. Any other questions?
All right.
Pat, I'd like to
Thank you,
mention
Pat.
one thing.
Yeah.
Like so many of the other nonprofits, we are experiencing a lack of board members.
Mhm.
And this is something that we are really, really looking for is people who can add something, ideas, quality of information to our board. It doesn't require that you have to be there, well, it does, you have to be there at least. You can only miss a couple of meetings. But anyway, the point of it is that there's a lot of great talent and brain power and ability to interact and network. And we would really appreciate if there's anybody who has any inkling of wanting to help out in a situation like this to, let us know. You can address it on our website, backpackangels.org. There's, it gives you a list of the various open board members, and also gives you all of our current board members. So if at all possible, if I know your tax probably, if you know of someone who might have an interest, let us know, please.
Right, well, hopefully, out there in Facebook land and just to get the word out there to people that volunteers are needed, and it just enriches your life so much to do good in your own community. And like you said, Pat, when you have those connections
Yes.
that I know as a teacher, I have students who come up to me and said, oh, I remember doing that cooking class. Yes, I know that was another time, okay, when we could do stuff like that. But it just makes you feel really good. Plus, you know what an impact you can make on people's lives. And yes, I'll echo that about the board members, that a lot of nonprofits are not only needing volunteers in general to come out and contribute, but board members as well. And it's not as cumbersome as you think. It's not that much of a commitment that like your life. It's not your life, and most.
Well, it can be.
It can be, but that's your choice how far you want to take it. And most boards meet once a month.
Talk a little bit about, and be scared, I think the city manager was trying to do something with Northport nonprofits.
Oh, no, I don't really have, we haven't really advanced that.
I will say that, at the last meeting, the city manager did give a list of all the nonprofits in
Okay, you're
Northport.
referring to that.
Backpack Angels was on there
Yes.
as well.
There's a whole list of
And
them,
he
yes.
said, we have so many people, so many great people that have come here, that have retired, that have so much skill set to give to a lot of the nonprofits.
Right.
So, and they'll continue to give out that list at every meeting.
Yeah, there was a list, and there are, what I particularly was drawn to were the ones that are specifically here in Northport.
Right.
Because people, when I talk to people and they do want to be involved, they really want to be involved here, where they live, as opposed to something that is outside of Northport or was more of a national level.
Well,
So
Alice,
we have our,
if I could add to that too, we've been really lucky because we go to the Homeless to Home Coalition luncheons, and you've been there once a month, and we get an awful lot from Venice. In fact, last year at Christmas time, the Venice Symphony dedicated a weekend to Backpack Angels, and all ticket holders were asked to bring hygiene products. So
that's right. I
yeah,
remember
I'm
that,
gonna say,
yes.
we've reached out to
Yes.
a lot of, and Venice has been just great with us.
Yeah.
And I believe they're gonna be doing it again this year.
I think the Northport Symphony did something with that, with Backpack
Well, I've
Angels.
talked to, I believe it's Michael.
Michael
Yes,
Alegria,
yes, I have talked to
Yeah.
him, so we're hoping to get something in the works this year.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's a name I know. I knew him as a kid. He was from my neighborhood, yeah.
He and your son were good friends.
That's right.
Alice, I thought I would go ahead and mention, being on a board can be stressful,
Yes,
but it's very rewarding also. And one of the things that we're looking at, of course, the Northport Arts Center is looking for board members. And one of the ways I've decided to help them and everyone else in this community who's feeling a little stress in their life is through the art of relaxation. Some of you may have heard of it as a sound bath. But I did pass out some information tonight that we have the art of relaxation coming up on Thursday. And I've made arrangements with the Arts Center. And the first and third Thursday of every month, we will have the art of relaxation here at the Northport Arts Center. So anyone out there who's feeling some stress, they can come and listen and relax and have 45 minutes of complete relaxation. All right, thank you, Dale.
Gail, what time is that at?
6:30. 6:30. Okay. So it's this Thursday, March 23rd.
I'd fall asleep and
I'll have to call Uber.
Take you home. You can bring a yoga mat and lay on the floor. And for those who say, I don't think I can get up off the floor, you can sit in a chair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do chair yoga too, yeah. Okay, thank you, Pat. Then I see Larry here, Larry Grant, who's with
Awaken Outreach Center.
Thank you. Do you want to tell us about what you do?
Sure. We started about 3 years ago, and one of our big things is our food pantry. We serve over 10,000 clients a month now, which is about 4,000 families in Northport and the surrounding communities. We're open 5 days a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are our walk-in pantry days, and Friday is a drive-through pantry that we serve about 650 680 cars come through, which is over 1,600 total household members. Commissioner White has been there, and
I didn't even know that to the extent that was. I thought that was like once every now and then, and you said it's every Friday.
Yep.
It's a double line of cars. It reminded me of, I'm dating myself, going to the drive-in movie. You know, they just line themselves around and they stop, trunks open, you put the stuff in, and then they go. It's like a well-oiled machine. You got it down pat. But they have to have a card or something, right?
yeah, they just signed up with Alface Food Bank. It takes about 3-4 minutes to fill out the paperwork. No ID or anything's required, so that they can use it for grant writing purposes and fundraising and demographics. So if, say, 50 people are coming from an area 20 miles from here to our pantry, then they don't want to have them to have to use that gas. So
Right.
they'll try to get a pantry started in that area, or Alface will bring one of their trucks with their own people and do a mobile pantry in that area to help the area out. And we have a lot of other events besides just our food pantry. We have a community day, the first Saturday of the month, where it's our walk-in pantry, but we also have lots of clothing and toiletry giveaways. We have haircuts. We usually have like 3 or 4 women cutting hair. We have a shower trailer. We have case managers to help anybody like sign for SNAP or food stamps, any kind of aid. We have Kiwanis comes to give out stuff, the community police unit. We try to have eye exams. On the first Tuesday of the month, we have mothers helping mothers come. They have great clothing and other things for young mothers and children of all ages and babies. We have self-defense classes, life groups. We have a care team ministry where they provide free mental health counseling to the community, and also support, going through difficult issues, hospitalizations, or we're starting a shut-in ministry there's a lot of things. We have a lot of big events throughout the year. Day for Hope, which is our big back to school event. We serve 140 kids and they go through with an ambassador, and we have a big breakfast and lunch. They'll have free medical, dental, eye exams, haircuts. They'll get big backpacks of school supplies, toiletries. They'll get several boxes of food from All Faiths Food Bank, from Detweiler's Farm Market. They'll get gift cards from Old Navy, Famous Footwear. Probably about another dozen nonprofits come and speak to them about different things that are going on and more. And we have first responder appreciation days, community. For Thanksgiving, we have several events. So we have our big Thanksgiving event that goes on during drive-through pantry. So they get all the stuff during drive-through pantry, which is about 35,000 pounds of stuff that we give away, plus about another, 15,000 pounds of turkeys and all the things that go, sides that go with the turkeys. And we also give out gift cards to Publix. And then we have the day before Thanksgiving, we have a big Thanksgiving meal at our place. If any of you know Antonio at Saber Food Truck, he comes and cooks over 300 Thanksgiving meals, and he's amazing. Love him. And he's getting an actual brick and mortar place, so that's awesome.
Yes, he does the catering for the Tour de Northport.
Yep, he's
For us.
amazing.
He's great, yeah.
Yep. And then my favorite event is Christmas. We give kind of the same thing as Thanksgiving, plus we give out thousands of toys. Like this year, we probably give out about 3,000 toys, like nice toys during drive-through pantry. And that's the way we've been doing it. But this year, we're going to switch it to a separate Saturday event, Day for Hope style, where the families will come in and they can get, they'll go through and, we'll have registered them and, they can say what they want ahead of time. We'll try to meet that need, give them exactly what they want, and have a lot of other stuff going on. And one of the big things this past year that we did was Hurricane Ian relief. In the aftermath of Ian, pretty much all the pantries and outreach centers in Northport were either completely wrecked, like Salvation Army, or just took a lot of damage and weren't going to be able to open. Well, thank God our place was not hurt at all, and the power was back on within 12 hours. So it's amazing. And we worked with the city. We were able to reopen in a couple days, and in 2 weeks, we served just at our pantry 11,500 people. We served about 4,000 hot meals. We had all kinds of other organizations there: Convoy of Hope, Operation Compassion, Jesus Loves You Ministry with a shower trailer, the community police unit. We had on the spot medical care, Mothers Helping Mothers, Laurel Civic. There was tons, and so we were able to really help our community. And the amazing thing was how much people gave. And in 2 weeks, we received 740,000 pounds of supplies, food and water and everything else, in addition to about 100,000 pounds of stuff that was from All Faiths Food Bank. So, it was amazing.
I just want to interrupt you there because I want to go back to the Friday drive-through, because that is something that people can volunteer on the spot, basically. And so people really want to get hands-on, get put to work, because the worst thing for volunteers, I know for me, is to go someplace, I'm going to volunteer, and there's really nothing for me to do.
We don't have that
I
problem.
blocked out this time, and what do you say? I don't
Yeah, I was
really
gonna
need
ask, I
to.
was gonna ask you, what do you do with all your free time?
Yeah.
All that free time, what do you do?
So that drive-through at 7:30, is that when it starts? on
Yeah, I get
Fridays?
there at 3, but
But when the people-
7 o'clock is when most of the volunteers get there.
Okay, till
And
what time?
It goes until 1.
And then the type of volunteer work, like what I was doing, I was part of the meat crew. I had I borrowed gloves. I didn't realize what I would be doing, but they were frozen chickens. So as the car comes up with the trunk open, I put the chicken, frozen chicken in the trunk, and then everybody has, like, somebody did the produce, somebody did that, so everybody has a job, so you're constant. And as soon as that car pulls out, another one pulls in, and then you're doing that over and over again. So you definitely will be put to work when you come to that, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, imagine, 650 plus cars
Right,
coming through in 3.5 hours is,
Yeah.
has to be
Requires
very organized.
volunteers.
right,
Thank God for the Northport Police
Yes.
Department. We had 8
Very
people,
organized.
including myself, doing traffic. And now we just have 2 officers that do it, except for our really big events, then we have 5.
yes, because they
plus.
know how to handle
They do, they're
the
amazing.
traffic. Yeah, because
Yeah,
actually,
amazing.
I went in the wrong place. I went back with the Children's First facility. By the way, People for Trees planted trees back there in the gardens. But I had to come out, but that's where the cars were coming in, but they had a middle lane that they had designated, so you can get out of there. I know they did that for the daycare too, but it's
Yep.
very well organized. Well, thank you, Larry. And how can they get in touch with you? Just contact Awaken.
Yeah, they can contact me, and my number is 941-549-3902. My personal cell phone, and you can just come by our outreach center
Yes,
anytime you want.
and that's on Pan American.
Yep, 4940 Pan American Boulevard. We're directly across the street from U-Haul in Talento, and
Right,
next to the senior center.
right.
I can message you on Facebook, that's
Yep,
how I do.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes, and you're on Facebook.
yeah, please, just friend me on Facebook and you'll see everything that goes on. I put a lot of stuff
All
out.
right, thank
Thank you so much.
Okay, so who else do we have here? How you doing?
Pretty good.
You're from SCORE?
I'm from school.
Did you want to talk about SCORE?
I can talk a little bit about it. It really isn't the same as the other nonprofits that are here, but yeah, I can talk a little bit about it. I'm Terry Kramer from SCORE. I'm chairperson of the Port Charlotte chapter. And what we do is we work with small businesses. We work with people who are either going to start a business, want to grow their business, or want to sell their business. And it's a nonprofit. We offer free mentoring, business mentoring to folks and that need some help. And we don't serve necessarily the end user, but we serve the businesses. And because of Ian and COVID, particularly in this area, we've got a lot of businesses that are hurting right now, and we're seeing a lot of work with them. And anyway, I'm not certainly on a level of what you're doing, but the businesses are really supporting the communities, and they support all of the
Right.
nonprofits that work in the community. So it's important to make sure that the businesses are successful.
Yes, and for them to know that opportunity is there for them, that they can get
So
assistance
we're working
and
with
advice.
Northport EDC folks and with some of the other communities in the area. In fact, I just came from an event at the Peace River Sculpture Garden with the Charlotte County Chamber, Punta Gorda Chamber. And so anyway, we work with a lot of communities in the area. I live in Northport. I've had property here for many years. And, I think that Northport now is on the verge of some explosive growth. And I know that LSU would be able to speak to that because of all the things that are going on in the commission. And it's important to make sure that the business community is strong because that's what supports everything that's going on. So anyway.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, who else? Dee, were you gonna
So
speak?
I'm just finding out information.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming. Dee, did you want to talk about the art center or?
Well, I just wanted to point out that the art center is here, but we're here for a mission. It's not just about visual arts, that we actually want to be fully involved in our community. I'll have Claire speak about the children's program since she's here, but I will speak about the adult programs because I pretty much put that together. But the gallery shows that we have this year, we're actually partnering with other nonprofits, and each show has a theme, so the visual artists can do their pieces of art related to the theme, and then Patricia and also Julia here, they're part of the Poets Workshop. They do poetry based upon the art. And then we have a nonprofit that that goes along with our theme. So we have United We Stand coming up, and we have Northport Forward as our featured nonprofit. And then after that, we have, it's called Out of This World. And we have Backpack Angels as our partner nonprofit, so that we will be promoting them, whatever the nonprofit is, to whatever they want to do to have our whole community come together and be unity. Like we would like to have a business partner for each of these shows that would help sponsor the show, and then also uplift whatever is going on in the art community along with the other nonprofits.
Now
So,
those shows here?
Yes.
oh yeah, yes, all of our receptions are here,
Okay.
and these are all around every reception. And we have the schedule up here on the wall, and we have a plaque with it here, and it's on our website. It's in our magazine. Our magazine's right there. And for instance, if you look at this magazine, each nonprofit that we have, we do an article about them. So here is the page that has sponsorship opportunities for businesses. And then these are all the shows we have, and it lists what the names of the shows are. And then when we do partner with the nonprofit, like the last show, we partnered with it was the Corral. So we did a story all about the Corral, the history of the Corral, which we would do with for Northport Forward or any other nonprofits that we go with. And then we promote whatever they have going on too. And this goes out digitally to 1,200 of our people. And it also is printed this limited because we don't have the funds to do it throughout the whole city, but it also goes out to this. So any businesses that would like to be involved in this, or any other nonprofits that would like to also be featured with the Art Center. And then Claire can talk to you more about the children's programs that we have.
In keeping with collaborating, at the end of the month, we are going to have the high school exhibiting here. It's the best show of the year. They'll be here for 2 weeks, and their reception will be April 5th, Wednesday night. And there'll be ribbons, and we'll have a scholarship to present through that. One of our after-school classes recently collaborated with Rescue Garage, is that what it's called there? And the kids did portraits of the animals that were currently on their roster or whatever. Also, we have an art show right now going on at the Northport Library by one of our adults with disabilities. There are exhibits being shown right there right now. It's beautiful artwork. We collaborate with Loveland. We have Friday classes here for Loveland students. You know, so you can see that we're very involved with our community and hope to be even more so. We have free classes every Saturday morning during the school year for kids. And this summer, we're going to be having our art camp, and every year just gets better. We know that for 2 reasons. It gets full faster, and the kids that are enrolled are either siblings or children of past kids. I mean,
Wow.
Large majority. Our campers come back and there are volunteers, or volunteers very often, almost always, past students.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else want to make their case, or how about any questions from the audience? I'm sorry, my back is to you. Yes.
I don't know what Loveland is.
It's an organization for adults with learning disabilities.
They're on Venice Avenue, correct?
They're
Yes.
also in, there's 4 offices now for the Loveland Center. I've interviewed all them on the radio, so I know this. Yeah, and there's like 4 offices. They've gotten really, really big.
Yeah,
And
the
I
one that
believe
I'm
they're
familiar with,
opening
it's
in
on
Northport.
Venice Avenue between River Road
There's an
and
office in Newport.
Yeah.
Roundabout. Oh, is there?
Very
That's the
small.
Northport
Yeah.
Social Services
Yeah.
Building.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay,
Next to the senior center.
Yeah.
right.
There's an art program also for homeschool children as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We have
every
homeschool
Wednesday
here
morning.
too on
I
Wednesdays.
didn't know if everybody knew that because it's a very good program.
And our classes, especially the homeschool ones, they're not just arts and crafts.
No.
We really are leaning heavily with art history, culture, STEM-based lessons, incorporate a little science or something. A couple of sessions ago, the children had to design Eiffel Towers with just rolled up newspaper. And it was a contest to see who can make the tallest freestanding Eiffel Tower, things like that.
It's very involved.
Okay, any other questions out there? Anybody want to have their 2 minutes of fame?
I should mention just real quick with the Northport Arts Center is that we have a veteran scholarship program that's available. And it was started by one of our artists, Philip Moore, who was a 3-time veteran of Iraq and wonderful artist, colorblind artist. And any veteran can apply for a free scholarship and have free classes. There's classes and there's workshops available year round. So if you know of any veterans that might be interested, and the reason that Philip did this was because he had PTSD really bad, and he wouldn't even come in the door here while his wife was volunteering or taking classes. And he started coming in and taking classes, and art was so healing for him that he decided he was going to start a program. And it's just amazing. We had how many at the last one? There were 10?
10 registered.
10 registered, and it was a scratchboard class. They've done wood carving, they've done acrylics, all kinds of different things. So I think that,
right up here.
I think that, that's a really great thing that the community to know that it is available.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to bring that up.
Wasn't he commissioned to do a painting for Greg
Representative.
Stubbe?
Yes, he has a painting in his Washington office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Greg was out here, not last year, but the year before, for Veterans Day, and presented him with a award and a flag that was flown over the Capitol, and it was an amazing day, unbelievable. But Philip is just an amazing man, and his wife Michelle, who a lot of you may know, is the lady that does the bones. She has Bone Boutique. They're amazing, amazing. So keep that in mind if anybody knows any veterans.
Okay, thank you. So just to wrap up, there's a lot that can be done out there. There's a lot that people can get involved in. As you mentioned, the city put out an entire list of organizations. Pick your poison, as they say. I'll just put in the last plug for People for Trees. Again, we've been around since 1997. There's not a place in the city that hasn't been touched with a tree planting or Florida Friendly Garden. Speaking of which, right out here, we've installed gardens at Atwater Elementary. We've done Lamarck Elementary. If you've been to the Performing Arts Center at the high school in front of what I call Stonehenge, that's what I refer to, those concrete pillars there. But we planted trees, those trees that are in front of there that were planted by People for Trees. And I've been working with Mr. Ward, a teacher, to plant more Florida Friendly Gardens in that area. So, and all of these things have to be maintained. Yes, and we've gotten to the point where we're paying a landscape company to go and do pruning, but it would be great to have volunteers because first of all, you're actual hands-on, you're out there doing something for your community. And then it frees up that money that we can actually do other projects. So there's always so many things that can be done out there if you just look for them. And again, I just want to close with, again, just help. Yeah, just help. We started off by talking about the negative things on social media, and I've had conversations with people that say, if people put that energy, focused it to something positive, just imagine what they could do, instead of bringing people down. So yes, just help, be a positive influence and force in our community, and there's no limit to what we can do together. So thank all of you for coming tonight.
Thank you.